Welcome to the Spirit of a Badass, where we celebrate stories of courage, hope, and resiliency. I'm your host, Alecia Jacobson.
Hello, and welcome to today's podcast episode. Thank you for joining. As always, I appreciate it. If you enjoy this, I would love it if you gave a review on Apple or Spotify, or just the little stars thing would mean so much. So today was supposed to be my first day, like my first day of summer, where I had like a full day to work, where I wasn't also parenting my girls. Today is their first day of a 3-week camp. It's not like an overnight camp. I still have to drop them off, but it's like 6 dedicated hours of camp. And my youngest, who never stops running around or talking, or like she's just like go 150 miles an hour from the time she wakes up to the time she goes to bed. And then after that, of course, she got up super early, and they were excited because they were going to camp, and got up super early. So probably tired, but she then fell asleep like 2 hours later, snuggling with me on the couch, and said her tummy hurt. So we know what that means when your kid, who never stops and takes a little snooze. So anyway, my day of what I thought it was going to be, getting all the shit done in like this condensed time, did not happen. And that's the way it is. We know this, like, not shocking. So to that, I just want to say the other thing that I'm dealing with, as I was like, I should have known this, because we talk about planning, we talk about all these things and like setting yourself up for success. Well, this camp, I didn't really pay attention to the time that it starts. It's right in the middle of my workout time, 3 out of the 5 days. So gonna have to alter that. And I saw a friend yesterday, and she's like, oh, I just go at this, like, it's like a 7:00 time, which I drop my daughter off for work at 7:00. So that would work. I don't like that time. And sometimes you might have to do that. I'm like, okay, can I do it? I've talked on here before. I do not like working out at home. So I'm going to have to figure out something, because I'm feeling my muscles like dwindling. And I told my husband last week, I'm like, I just need to lift some weights. I need to start lifting. I was telling you, I started lifting again. And then life was like, haha, just kidding. Everything is going to be during your workout time. And you either are not going to work out, or you have to figure it out. And I'm in the figure it out stage right now. So anyway, you got to like just roll with it. And that's just what we do. So today is a little bit of an extension off last week's episode, because in last week's episode, I talked about how I had a bread making sourdough coach that I'm meeting with, which is tomorrow. And I'm so excited. And this is just like a one-off. Maybe I'll meet with her more, but I just have a list of questions, and I didn't know who, like, I can Google it all. Is it going to be right? Is it going to be right for me? And that's kind of what I was talking about surrounding yourself with the right people, and then also getting someone who's dedicated to your specific needs. So I had some people reach out and be like, hey, either how do you find this certain kind of coach, or how do you even go about doing this? So I decided today's episode, we are going to talk about how to find a coach and kind of what different kinds there are and how to go about it. Because I tell you, if you go to our friend Google, you are going to find it's going to be overwhelming. And a lot of times that's where people start, is they're just overwhelmed. And when I found my first coach, which she was actually a guest on here, Charity Gent, she was a referral from somebody. And I really enjoyed working with her. And then she ended up being my instructor when I got my coaching certification at the UW-Madison. And she's just a lovely, lovely human. And she was my very first coach. And that was for a more life and business type coaching. I think I had just opened up not the first gym, but the second gym at the time. And it was just really lovely. So how do you do this if you're looking for a coach? And how do you even know that you need a coach? Because sometimes you might not even you don't know. But first, let's get into what coaching is and what it isn't. Because me, who now holds the title of coach, way back when, this is actually kind of embarrassing, and I don't think I've ever told anybody this. Way back when I first opened my first gym, which would have been in 2013, maybe 2012, actually. I, on LinkedIn, which I think then was like a new thing and I should be on it. Like, I don't do anything on LinkedIn right now, but I put on there Alecia Jacobson coaching and consulting. Why did I put this on there? I put this on there because the kind of best coach at the time that I thought was Darcy Loma, who is a local resident of Madison and she is a coach and consultant. In fact, she then went on to design and create the ICF coaching program that I went through at the UW Madison. And I was just like searching, like, I don't know what the hell to call myself. I'm not a fucking consultant. Like, what the hell am I consulting? But for that to just be aware of like anybody can slap a label on themselves. And I had no business having that label. Now, I did work with so many women in the gym. I had been training for several years and I helped people with nutrition and, things like that. I didn't have any extensive certifications in anything like that at the time. And I thought I was doing coaching. What I was actually doing was just telling people what to do, more of like, like a fitness coach that then tells you what to do and gives you advice. But I was kind of calling that coaching, which telling people what to do is very much, at least not the coaching that I do. So I always think that's funny that I was just like, oh yeah, I'm a coach and consultant. Like, huh? Nobody ever asked me about it. And then I eventually changed it because it meant literally nothing. And I don't know, I find that funny. So when you're looking for somebody, you've got your sort of your therapy bucket, which I will say in my sessions, and I actually usually in my intro call when I talk to people, like, I am not a therapist. I tread very carefully on like, you can give me your shit, but I am not there to like necessarily unpack that type of shit. I can give you all the referrals in the world. I can send you to all of the places that would be helpful for you. Not it. Okay. You need many letters behind your name, which I do not hold. So be wary of any coach who's claiming to do work beyond their scope. You have to stay in your lane. If you're not staying in your lane and you're making these claims that you really shouldn't be doing, because the problem is they can cause damage. And you might not even know they cause damage until much later. And they might not know they're causing damage. But looking at making sure that they have the right qualifications for the work that they're doing. And then you have the consultant, which a lot of times they will come in to, your business organization and they will help kind of coach and consult through that. There was a lot of career professionals within my coaching program that I took at the UW. They were there specifically for their work. They were there so that they could be in a mentorship or things like that within their organization. But you can also get consultants that come in and help you within your organization. And I've, recommended this. I work with a lot of leaders and organizations. And again, that is not what I do, but I have referred people, many of them, to Darcy because she has built quite a beautiful team of coaches that go in and do these things. But the kind of coaching that I do, it's kind of a little bit different between health coaching and life coaching and career coaching, but much of it is, my belief is that you have all the answers already within you. I'm sort of like the bumpers at bowling. We figure out where you're going. I help you figure it out. And then we get there. But if you start to want to go into the gutter, I'm like, oh no, I'm here. I'm going to be your little bumper and keep you on course here. And we figure out, well, why the hell are you going into the gutter? Are you familiar with the gutter? Does the gutter feel safe to you? Is this a known place that you often end up because it's just what you're used to? And I just pop you back on track and we work through it to get you to your actual goal. A coach is a partner. A coach is somebody who holds accountability. I use an app and we design the accountability. That's one of the pieces to it. And you decide, what does it look like? Do I check in with you? Do you check in with me? What happens if you don't do what you say you're going to do? So there's a lot of partnering and walking next to each other versus me telling people what to do or any coach telling you what to do. And the big thing that happens within coaching and with every single coach that I have hired is that there is a destination to get to. There is a problem that needs to be solved and unpacked. You're usually stuck or spinning. People say it's like you feel like you've tried things, and kind of like I was saying with my sourdough, I could spend time Googling all of these things, but is it going to be specific to me? And is the information that I get going to be accurate for my specific circumstance? And likely that's going to be no. And you can trial and error your way through it. I mean, lots of people do that for months and months and years. But I have found, and I know because this is what I do, when you actually work with somebody, like tomorrow when I work with my sourdough coach, I already gave her a list of all my specifics. She's going to come with, here's what to do. This is a kind of a sciencey thing. So she's going to give me actual, like, tell me what to do. But then also she's going to ask me a bunch of questions. So I'm going to get my specific needs met. So I guarantee, like, my loaves, oh my gosh, I'm such a fucking dork. My bread loaves after tomorrow are going to be better. So if you are a recipient of my bread, it will be better after tomorrow. If you are not a recipient of my bread and you would like some, I just freely hand this shit out. So you just let me know. I would happily deliver or overnight you even some bread. All right. So that is sort of what coaching is and isn't. And being clear on that before you start is really helpful. And then the different kinds of coaches, there's so many. I mean, who knew there was a sourdough coach? I mean, there's people that I know that have writing coaches or habit coaches. I mean, basically, if you think it is a possibility. So the 2-3-ish kinds that I offer are health coaching, which that we focus on habits, nutrition, your lifestyle, kind of everything that plays into your life, stress, gut health. I mean, it's all of these things that you look at the whole person and we develop a plan, which generally you already kind of have an understanding of the plan. We just look at you and then we put that in motion. Then you have life coaching, which generally what you're feeling with that is just an overall sense of lack of purpose, lack of direction, lack of the things that were working are no longer working. The things that used to bring you happiness are no longer bringing you happiness. It could be wanting to just do something new. It could be that you have realized, like, oh, my mind is keeping me stuck. The way that I think is maybe a little bit fucked up and twisted. And that's not, like, no shade. You're taught these things. We're shown these things. We're modeled these things. But you might have that sort of eye-opening feeling of like, oh, shit. And, you might start down the like self-help aisle on, the bookstore and start seeing, how do you find your purpose? How do you do this? And it might be like, oh, that might work. And then it's like, oh, wait, I need somebody who's a little bit more dedicated to me. And that's sort of like what general life coaching is. Then we have career coaching. That is, I'm working with somebody that's, and just all the time where it's like either a change is forced upon you or you're at your breaking point a lot of times where you can no longer continue on the same path, or maybe there's a reorganization and your roles have changed. And it's like, oh, wait, do I really want to be spending this much of my time on this? But maybe you've been doing it for 20 years and you're like, what the fuck do I do? And how do I find something that aligns with who I am and how I want my life to look? Do I want to be spending all this time at work? Do I want to have the stress load? Maybe the stress load was fine in your 20s and 30s, but now you have a completely different life. How do you align with that? Or how do you, maybe it was really important to climb the ladder and get the letters behind your name and to have that sort of status. And now you're realizing, like, oh, that's no longer in alignment with me. I want something that is low pressure, low stress, something that I can sleep at night. But that is so much deeper. And that kind of goes in with life coaching. They all sort of overlap. But that's so much deeper than just going out and putting on your resume on Indeed. There's a lot to work through when you're making a life choice like that. And then you have a business coach, which I've had several business coaches for several different reasons. The bumper that I said that I am for other people, I need that also for myself. But also, I am a person who was a trainer that doesn't like to follow rules. So I decided to open a business. I am a business owner because I cannot be an employee. I have no business owning a business. The amount of times people look at me so funny when I say that, but I truly don't. I just can't have people tell me what to do. So I am forced to have a business. So I need somebody who is like, oh, I got you. I know how to do this. I need somebody to break it down for me because that is not something that comes easy to me. It is not something that my brain naturally like. I like to talk about feelings and emotions and, you know, I can do those things, but talking about, you know, numbers and spreadsheets, oh, I can't do it. But you have to do it. So finding where is the need that you have? Is there like a gap? And how do you find somebody to fill it? And maybe, how do you find somebody to fill the gap? Please excuse my very juvenile mind right there. Oh, when I used to have the gym, oh my goodness, the inappropriate jokes. Like I used to say, like if we were men, we would be in trouble. And this is another reason I can't be employed by someone because I would get fired for my inappropriateness. But we would just make the most funny jokes about balls and all these things. It makes me miss them and our jokes because that was funny. Anyway, where was I? Ooh, shiny object. Oh, fill the gap. We're filling the gap. That's right. And you don't always have to have your gap filled, right? Sometimes it's just, we just need to have the space there, the gap, and you don't need to be working towards something. You don't need to be working towards something. And sometimes you're like, you know what? I want to improve. I want whatever this is to take it to the next level. And you can really only go so far by yourself unless you have endless time, you know, then by all means go for it. But if you don't have endless time, then finding somebody who can guide you and walk next to you and having that coach or mentor or whatever it is so important. And that's another one, having a mentor that's a little bit less formal. It is more of a person who maybe has, you know, done it a little bit before you and they kind of give you advice. Sometimes when you start a new job, you have, you know, a mentor that is partnered with you. And if you have questions, they're your go-to person. So a little bit different as it's not as kind of formal and here is where we're going. And, you know, here I am with, like, I'm in this with you. That is the purpose of a coach. And I mean, like my sourdough one, like fucking have fun with it. And maybe you don't have the time for that right now, but there's just so much that people are passionate about that they offer. There is one woman, I tried to get her on here. I should reach out to her again, but she does watercolor painting. And if you remember back probably a year ago now, I started watercolor painting and I do all sorts of crazy ass shit. But she had a course so you could work with her. And what a lovely gift to yourself to take that time and space. And that's really what coaching is. It's taking time and space just for you so that you can live the best life, whether it be for pleasure, which that is a very good reason. Okay. You don't have to do this just for getting ahead or money or weight loss or, the typical things. Like you can do this for fucking pleasure. Fill that gap for pleasure. All right. I just can't be serious. I'm very sorry. I am very, very sorry. So, where are we at here? We've talked about what it is, the different kinds. I mean, literally endless. And once you find one, so I'll give you an example. When I was being interviewed, so I have what's called a discovery call. You can book it on my website, and that is our first initial meeting. And when I recently had this with a woman, at the very end of it, she said, I just have to ask you because the work that I do and the way my life is, I need to know that our values align. And I knew where she was going. I mean, I've talked about it on here so many times how the current administration and things are happening. And I was so thankful because that's one of the things that I think about constantly. And to have her just ask me, I need to know if I'm going to work with somebody that our values align. And to have her ask that, I was like, okay, good. And that could be anything. I mean, people ask me, about my kind of, not my philosophy, but my approach to health and fitness, because those of us who grew up in the 90s, it was all about being skinny and restriction and all these things. And my approach has drastically changed. If you worked with me early on in my career, it was about restriction. It was about, it wasn't all about that, like in the totally skeezy way, but it was, I mean, I look back at the things that I said, or when you have like the Facebook memories, and I'm like, ew, I just want to fucking punch myself. I didn't know any better at the time that I was living in the environment that I was in. And that was what the arena that I worked in, that was what we kind of got fed through. So making sure that whomever you're talking to, go with your gut on it. If you're talking with somebody, and making sure that they align with you, because this is an investment. And if you're going to be meeting with this person, you need to be able to trust them. That's another thing people say is like, if I'm working with somebody, especially locally, confidentiality. And that is one thing within my accreditation and the program that I went through, is that there's 100% everything is confidential. Like on here, I tell stories and stuff, but I would never tell anything that is identifiable or use a name or anything like that. So people have to be safe, and you have to be safe, no matter what kind of coaching it is. There are these, baker coaches out there. This person that I'm working with, I clicked with. She doesn't fucking know I clicked with her yet. The woman that I work with she kind of does my marriage counseling, and then she kind of coaches me. She does both, and she's qualified to do both. But I listen to her, and I am with her. And the first call, I was like, oh, I love you. Like you are my person. I feel so safe with you. And let me just back up. If you're stepping into the therapy, which that's not what this is about, but I just want to give the little like asterisk there. If you're stepping into the therapy world, you might feel uncomfortable. So you might not have that initial like, oh my gosh, let me spill everything to you. I feel so comfortable. I want to tell you everything. That might not be the case. So I just want to be very clear. And you're not going to immediately, well, don't fall in love with them. That's weird, but you know what I mean? You're not going to immediately necessarily click, but there should be some clicking because you need that safety factor. And then how I said I found my coach was getting referrals, like asking people, like they're the people that reached out to me, asking me questions. Find people that, you might be similar with or have similar goals to you or whatever it be. Find those people, ask those people. I am the person that people ask the questions to, whether it's something that I have any business knowing or not. I will find you the person that can ask that. So if you have a person like that in your life, reach out to them and ask them. Make a post on social media, search like hashtags, and just start following people. A lot of my coaches I found just by following them on social media and seeing, does what you say align? If there's many that I've just then unfollowed because they've given me the ick. So I think social media, even, I mean, I say this, I really haven't posted on social media much since November. Mine actually is probably depressing. So, but it is sort of, I mean, that I think that piece speaks volumes more than, I mean, a website can tell you a lot, but I think seeing how they are, kind of their tone, all those things does how they are attract you? Do you feel comfortable within their space and the energy that they're giving off? And just knowing like when the time is right, you will be ready. You will know. I mean, if there's this sort of like, oh, yeah, maybe just put the feelers out there. There's no, I mean, take maybe the pressure off. Like there's no rush about it, and kind of have a trusting of when you need to, when you're ready, the person will align with you. And I just think that's really helpful. And how to know if it's time. So if it's time, like I said earlier, you're probably feeling stuck. You're feeling like you want to take it to the next level. You might be repeating patterns and stuck in a cycle that you can't get out of. You have probably read books, listened to podcasts, all those things, and you might have gotten a little traction, but you're like, wait, I've made it like 2 steps on my own over the last 6 months. And I have this big goal, whatever that is. And I need a partner in helping me get to that goal. I know I am guilty of, and I know so many people are guilty of purchasing courses. Like I said, that would be that if I had a guilty pleasure, it was purchasing courses, many of which I did not finish. Many just dead courses out there. I am not, just like I can't work out at home by myself, I am not a person that can be like, oh, I'm going to sign up for this thing that I'm going to do all by myself on my own time. I have people in my world. They are 100%, they can do that. Not me. I need to know that I am meeting you at this time. I need to know that if I bail on you, I am going to still pay for that. I need I need all of the things in place because I have a lot of moving pieces. And I will let it slide because I have so many moving pieces. So if it's really important, having a dedicated human, actual human, is so fucking important. Because like when I had the gym, if somebody didn't show up for a couple of days, you best believe that I am like up their ass. Like, where are you? What's going on? I haven't heard from you. And like pull them back because they need that. And I let them know that straight away. This is not just a regular place where you scan a key card and you come in. This is a place where we know you, we know things about you, we know your family, we know your story. And we will make sure, because I would also, we were, get to be buddies with people and check in on each other. And if you need that and you're not accomplishing your goals, do you have the right environment set up for yourself? And if you're not, then the answer is a coach is probably for you. So those are my best recommendations for what it is, what it isn't, how to find a coach of any type. And then usually what they would do is have some sort of an initial call with you. And that's where probably more like this one, I didn't have an initial call. I just booked the session with her. I see her social media. It's just a one-off. So it's not like I'm making a major investment. I'm not opening up a fucking sourdough business, although everybody is telling me to. I'm like, no, that would take the fun out of it for me. Let me just give you my free bread and it makes me happy. It makes you happy. So mark my words, I am not opening up a cottage bakery or micro bakery or farmer's market. I cannot do that. I cannot. Anyway, many times people will have an initial session that you can either get more information, do a 15-minute call with them, and get the vibe and see, are we in alignment? Does what you could offer match my goals? And I have that. You can get on my website if what I'm saying, like the health, life, career coaching type stuff, sits with you. You can book a call on my website, but most people would have options on a website. If they don't, you could, ask. Remember, like, you can ask for what you need and ask for more information to make sure that, because this is an investment. This is an investment in yourself. This is a monetary investment, and making sure that everything lines up so that you get your needs met. All right. I hope that if you are out there looking for a coach, you find one who can catapult you and take you to wherever it is that you are looking to get. I wonder how many times I said sourdough, but it brings me joy. So I shall keep on. All right. Have an excellent day, and I will see you next time. This fall, I'm opening the doors to 2 powerful coaching experiences for women, because you're not meant to do this alone. First, the GLP-1 coaching group, designed for women using a GLP-1 medication, including those microdosing for perimenopause. We'll focus on building healthy, sustainable habits in a shame-free, judgment-free space where you can feel supported, understood, and empowered to make lasting change. Then there's the Women's Coaching Circle, a transformative small group where you can create an intentional plan for your life, follow through with real support, and feel more like you again. If you're ready to stop carrying it all alone and start creating the life you actually want, this is your time. How do you sign up for this? Send me a message through email at contact@Alecia Jacobson and let me know that you're interested in getting on the list, and I will send you all the information once it's ready to go out, and you will be the first to know.
Spirit of a Badass is a Lit Path Studios podcast and is produced by Jamie Gale and Alecia Jacobson. Music by Shane Ivers. We'll be back with another inspiring interview. Until then, keep your spirits high and your energy badass.